Hare Krishna. You just caught me actually because I'm just going out the door now. I just filled up my rucksack, if you can see it. It's got books in it, by the way. Very heavy books. I just thought I'd pick up a few more because you don't want to run out. So I'm actually going out on book distribution. This is something that you may have noticed that Hare Krishnas do quite a bit. I mean, they don't just go up and down like the street in their orange robes singing Hare Krishna. They also distribute books. We don't sell it, by the way. We just want a donation to cover the printing costs. So anyway, on this week's vlog, we have Vaisesika Prabhu. I'll put all details to do with him in terms of website, personal information, bio, and that in the description box. If you don't know who he is, if you do know who he is, then I think you'll appreciate this. Is amazing messy. So basically, I'm thinking, if you could ask Vaisesika Prabhu anything about book distribution, because quite frankly, he is the personification of book distribution, what would you ask him?
Hare Krishna Vaisesika Prabhu, why do the Hare Krishna distribute books?
Books are containers. They contain idea seeds. Human beings are especially qualified to read books because they have very large brains. And not only that, spiritual beings have an appetite for knowledge. It's called the chit potency. Chit means knowledge, or the ability to understand refined information. So humans love books. They always have. As soon as they could start writing on things, they would write on stones, on walls, on shells, and then they made paper, and now they're doing digitally. And what it is an accumulation of ideas. So ideas act like seeds, and they spill out into the minds and hearts of those who receive them, and from there, great things can manifest if they're good seeds. So we have examples of movements all over the world, ideological, political, economic movements that started through the distribution of books. As an example, the idea of evolution came from Darwin's book called Origin of the Species. The book is not widely found in people's homes or cars, but the ideas that spilled out of that book are pervasive. They're ubiquitous. Similarly, a book named Common Sense that was written by Thomas Paine is known by historians to have galvanized the colonists. And they rose up and had a revolution and formed their own country. And it was the revolution was sparked by the ideas in this book by Thomas Paine. It's still the most prolifically distributed book per capita of any other book known to modern man, that book. So the reason the Hare Krishnas distribute books is to distribute ideas about the spiritual world and spiritual practice that will spill out and give people an opportunity, once those ideas enter their minds and hearts, to take up the practice that will help them to reach the goal of life, which is to become conscious of God, Krishna. That's why Hare Krishnas distribute books. There's lots more reasons, but I'm just giving you the bare bones answers right now.
When did book distribution start in the West?
That is, transcendental book distribution, or the books of Srila Prabhupada, started in the West in 1965 when Srila Prabhupada arrived in America, because he brought with him trunks full of Srimad Bhagavatams. These are the quintessential teachings of Bhakti in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He brought with him 3 volumes, the first canto, written in 3 volumes that he himself had commentated upon, translated, and also published in India, and then he brought them in trunks to America. Actually, truth be known, before Prabhupada arrived in America, his books arrived, because he had distributed in India some of his books to the Library of Congress in Delhi, and they had dispatched some of them to various other countries and libraries, and one of them was the New York Public Library, and therefore Srila Prabhupada's books ended up in the New York Public Library a year before Prabhupada arrived in 1965 to start the Hare Krishna movement. So book distribution started with Prabhupada. He showed how to do it. He did it himself, and he asked his followers and disciples to do it. So after that, the Bhakti Guided magazine, which is a simple publications, some pages stapled together, started along with those original Bhagavatams. And then Prabhupada wrote other books, like he had brought Easy Journey to Other Planets. He wrote that in India. He also wrote the TLC, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. He wrote the Bhagavad Gita that was distributed, and other books followed in a way. They came in waves all the way through Prabhupada's departure in 1977. He continued to write books and have them published through his own publishing company called the Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust, which still goes on today, distributing millions of books all over the world.
Are these books applicable to you now in the modern day?
Yes, they're applicable because they're timeless. They relate to us as spiritual entities. Of course, they also give commonsensical knowledge about how we can work in this world and be balanced. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. Don't recreate too much, don't recreate too little. Be yukta, or balanced in your life. And there are many other such instructions. What are they there for? To show us that if you live a clean life, a balanced life, a healthy life, then you'll have lots of energy and time to focus on your spiritual practice, which is the very purpose of life. So the books are absolutely applicable to us in the modern age. And I find that by reading them every day, I can actually navigate the complexities of the modern world much better than if I don't. I highly recommend it.
Hare Krishna. So that's the end of part 1. I'm going to have to split this up and put it in another vlog, so you'll have to stay tuned for next week. In the meantime, if you'd like to sponsor any books, ISKCON-London does place books in schools, universities, care homes, libraries, hospitals, you name it, we'll place it. If you have a particular place, and prisons. We place a lot of books in prisons. So if you have any particular place you want us to place those books, we can also put them there. So if you're interested in sponsoring any books, please do let me know. You can just write a comment in the description box below and we can discuss and get in touch. And in the meantime, I really do hope you enjoyed this vlog and hope to see you next week for part 2. Hare Krishna!